John Billingsley, Phil Phlox, Hollywood Food Coalition here. Guess what? Trek Talks 2. It's happening. You asked for it. You got it. January 14, 8 hours of premium Star Trek entertainment, amazing guests, madcappery, insightful social commentary, musical interludes. Support HoFoCo. Check us out at hofoco.org, helping people in need for almost 40 years. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, on the 14th of January at trektalks.net. Live long and mark your calendars. Again, trektalks.net.
Everybody, welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. We are proud members of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, and we are so excited to bring you this show today. I'm Tamia Harper, and I'm joined by my sisters, Sabrina Wood,
whoop, whoop,
and Fran T.
What's happening?
So we SyFy Sisters had the amazing opportunity provided to us by Paramount to interview the executive producers of Star Trek Prodigy, Kevin and Dan Hageman. And we wanted to share this with you all. We've shared part 1 of this interview on our YouTube station, that shows you how old I am. On our YouTube channel. But what you don't know is that we also have a part 2 of this amazing interview. So today we're bringing you both parts of those interviews, and I hope you enjoy. We'll see you after the show.
Well, Fran and I met online in a couple of Star Trek Discovery chat rooms that we were defending Sonequa early on. And then Tamia, we met at AwesomeCon, and Yvette came in at
later.
VTech 2. VTech. Wow. VTech. Yeah. Virtual Trek.
I always feel like Sonequa reminds me of we have one sister, and my sister is like a bubbling energy thing of joy. She's a dancer, and she has that, like, Sonequa was kind of like everything is joyful and everything
infectious.
Like that. Yeah,
exactly. We're totally infectious like that. Like, she just seems like such a joy, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's right, really. Go ahead.
How can we help you?
Well, we're just.
What?
We got questions.
Did you watch our little cartoon? Oh, it's so joyous.
I love your little cartoon. The little cartoon that could, you know.
That could, yes.
I think in Chicago we were got a chance to just gush a little bit about how much we love Prodigy, and you know, we the sisters are of the opinion that the 2 animated series are creating some of the best Trek that's out there today. Mm-hmm. You know, you guys have talked a lot in your past about your growing up as with a love of Star Trek, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm just curious as to when you were kids growing up with Star Trek, what did that teach you? Like, how did Star Trek influence the men that you became today?
Mm. Wow.
I mean, we weren't like, I would say we were respectful and we were fans of Star Trek, but we weren't like solely like we didn't think we would ever get to be writing our own Trek show. So that never really is something.
And we grew up, like, our introduction to Trek was through the movies. So I question what Kirk taught me. While he did do some good things, you know, looking back, I don't know if he was the best role model for me as a young boy.
But I think that's where, like, our cinematic, like, when we think of Trek, you know, visually, we think
big
ending where Spock dies. It's massively emotional.
Yeah.
It's epic for us. Like, we were children of the 80s, and to us, Kirk and Spock were as big as Michael Jackson. Like, they were, and we were from Oregon. We never thought we'd ever have a chance to get into the entertainment industry. So I think they were just icons in their heads. And to us, Star Trek, to me, is that relationship of Kirk and Spock, of that two very different people learning from each other. And I think that value
being better together,
cool.
So important. And I think when we were approached about Star Trek Prodigy, the first thing we thought was, in today's day and age, with politics and stuff, I'm like, this is the time that different people need to start actually talking and really listening to each other,
coming together and being greater together. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Easier said than done.
Right, so true. But I think that's why it's so important that we have a show that's speaking directly to a younger age group. It translates to us as well, to adults, but particularly for the younger ones. That's what we get them.
That's how we came in as younger ones. So,
go ahead. And some kids' shows are very disposable, right? And a good Trek show, like, I'm watching all the original series still. I'm watching these, and like, they stand the test of time. And so we're like, let's make sure this show, I want decades from now, kids are finding Prodigy for the first time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Starfleet.
Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No worries. I was going to go back to Chicago. I know when we met you guys in Chicago, we were just seeing Prodigy, the ending of it. And I was wondering, why was there such a large break in the middle? I actually thought the season was over. I thought this was season 2 for a while. Was the show designed?
Was that
10.
after 10? Okay.
Yeah, was after 10. So I was wondering, was the show designed to be played like that, or was that just beyond your control?
It was designed to go 10 and then break and then 10.
Okay.
In the first batch, there was 5 and a break, a lot of because of COVID. And you set out to make a budget and you make a show before COVID hits. And then all of a sudden COVID hits and you're like, either rush it and get it out the door, or we go, hey, if this thing's going to last, hopefully the test of time, we got to do it right.
Yeah.
So, that was uncomfortable conversations, but like it what was in the best intention for the show,
But as you'll see, like, we designed it as, like, in essence, 10 episode. Yeah. I don't want to call them seasons, but the first 20 episodes are really going to feel like a complete story. And you're just leading up to the final 5 are intense.
Can't wait.
Really dramatic.
But after each 10, it feels like something happens where you can take a little break.
Okay.
The kids save the minors. Okay, good.
Right.
Yeah. I like it.
But we'll always tease you, though. We'll always tease you about what's going to be in the next 10. So
see, I love that.
That's good Trek right there.
We thought this was one of the best cliffhangers ever. I mean, we thought 10 was just like, okay,
wait for 20, man. That's the end of this, like, that cliffhanger.
All right. Stop playing with us now. Come on now.
I know.
I know.
We only got like a few screeners.
I wouldn't say it's a cliffhanger, but it's like a nugget. It's a nugget.
Nugget.
That's you to look forward to.
That's awesome.
Sabrina.
All right. Well, I am the OG in the group along with Fran, and I am the sister that has, as they say to me, an aversion to animation.
Do you?
And
She does.
it's been a hard pull for me to watch the animated show. But let me say this. We did a bonus show about how much Sabrina loves Prodigy. So you got
I love it.
So I was watching this and I saw different characters in the way that they were being drawn. And so I was saying, Gwen and Doll remind me of Anime and Speed Racer. Zero reminds me of the Jetson. Murph, I thought about, My Little Pony. And, Rock Talk, I was like, okay, that is the thing from, that's Jack Kirby there.
Yeah, Jack Kirby.
And I'm like, okay, the Telluride with that little tooth and a little black nose, that is definitely Fred Flintstone, Hanna-Barbera. Just stop it.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to know, which cartoons did you love growing up?
Oh my gosh. That maybe influenced this?
We grew up with like G.I. Joe. I remember watching G.I. Joe.
Transformers, G.I. Joe was, but here's the hard part. It was linear TV and it was somewhat serialized, but they would play them in order.
You watch whatever was on TV Saturday.
Right.
Watch the block.
The whole thing.
Some PBS stuff. You're like, I'm done. They start throwing educational stuff at like 11 a.m. in the morning, and that kid's
that's when it was time to get up and do chores.
I think. But so with animation, I don't know how much animation influenced us.
Because we didn't want to go into animation, so it obviously.
Yeah, I would say when you look at our show, you're going to see a lot of Amblin entertainment, like Spielberg stuff, like E.T. and Goonies, and all that sort of wish fulfillment and coming of age type of stories. Yeah. You'll see a lot of that, and also I was just showing my kids Flash Gordon, the 1980s, campy, super fun, rock music, colorful outfits. I loved that stuff. So,
All right. I'm going to hand it over to Fran.
Hi. I know that you've been involved with other franchises, other huge franchises. It's being a part of Trek. We had there was a discussion about how I should ask this question. However, being a part of Trek, how has it been different, or has it been different from the other huge franchises you've been a part of?
Oh, it's
the
different.
Fandom.
It's different because you know how much it means to people. You know how much Trek means, and it's like you're tiptoeing through a minefield, and you're like, don't want to get blown up.
Right? It's frightening.
Canon.
And there's so much before us, right? Whereas the other franchises with Lego, when we did the Lego movie and Lego Ninjago, there was very little Lego entertainment before what we worked on it. And what we saw were we could do better than that. Lego deserves better entertainment than that. So that was different and easier. But Trek, you've got, oh my gosh, there's so much great stuff.
Yeah. And everyone's knives are out, waiting to cut you off.
Yeah.
Don't we know?
How are they going to mess this up? Let's see.
We always say we're not a kid show, but if anyone attacks us, we'll be like, hey, you're attacking a kid show. Hey.
with the Trek history, with over 50 years of history and all this stuff, the Trek fans are a whole different body of people from the other franchises. Yeah. So I'm glad you're here. We love your show, and I'm just amazed. I'm amazed at the animation of it because it's so different from Lower Decks, but the animation is so just beautiful. It's just so gorgeous, and thank you for that. It's like, I'm mesmerized by the storylines and the animation. So thank you.
Well, it touches us because honestly, when you're making something, kids are going to come to it because of how beautiful it is. But to have adults come to it and appreciate it means a lot to us because that's something that was really important to us. Wanting to make sure that Kate Mulgrew will tell you herself, their adults can learn just as much as kids if they allow us to.
And we're talking about the universe being so vast and deep now with shows. That was their intention of it's not just a kid's show. It's for the new viewer. It's for that person who's maybe been a little timid about entering into the Trek universe and doesn't know where to start. Well, here's a nice, easy way in, and it introduces the principles and the type of sort of episode sort of themes and ideas or and concepts that Star Trek likes to play with, and it gets you in, and suddenly it's a launching pad to jump into Voyager or TOS or whatever you want.
New worlds,
definitely.
Yeah, I feel like we've said it actually a couple of times. Yvette has actually said several times how this is the show that she can take to people who don't have any knowledge of Trek beforehand and use it as an introduction, because it teaches you everything you need to know about Star Trek philosophy. You know, I mean, it's like we are going along on that ride with these kids. And I think that's one of the things that's so endearing about it to me personally, is that, you know, I'm seeing it through fresh eyes again. You know, I was indoctrinated into these principles when I was really young, but to be able to go back and say, and try, and it reminds me of what it was like as a child when I first saw, you know, No Kill Eye, you know, and was like, ooh, that's not the monster. No.
Yeah, it was exciting for us. Like when we were talking about the characters, you know, creating a Medusan as a character, we're like, that's just going to blow kids' heads. Like, the concept of what is a non-corporeal entity, how it can drive a person crazy. I'm like, I love these little like nugget bombs that you throw into kids' heads that can really get them to think and get them to spark and get them to think of new ideas and think outside the box. So it's an absolute pleasure to be working.
We wanted, when we built the show we wanted it for the adult Trek fans, that this was the show that they never knew that they wanted. You know, we designed it.
That's exactly how I feel.
I'm so happy and relieved to hear that it's working, because that, you know, we've been on this for like 3.5 years of our lives devoted to this, and we're like, thank God it's working.
We just want to say we love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that first one. Here's the second part 2 of our interview with the Hageman brothers. And it's dealing with the second half of the Prodigy season. So if you have not watched the second half of Prodigy season 1, stop here, go watch it, because everything's out now, and then come back and listen to this interview, because there are spoilers ahead, y'all. We are telling you multiple spoilers ahead, but we hope you enjoy. Happy listening.
I was picturing you guys all together on the couch watching it together.
That was our dream.
That's our dream too. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We were just together this weekend though. We went to the African American Museum in DC.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, nice.
It was amazing. And now we have you guys, and we're so grateful and so thankful for your time again. Okay, so one of the episodes that I really wish that I had my sisters there to watch with me was Ghost in the Machine. What a fun episode. What an amazing episode. What like a thrilling episode. And how fun was it for you guys to do a holodeck episode?
I think very early on when we were like having our wish fulfillment of like what Star Trek episodes do we want to do, the holodeck episode, it was always like when are we going to get to this episode? That was always that was always the plan to get there. But that was a lot of fun. I think Chad Quant did an amazing job. He's someone who, it was so funny where we were talking about holodecks, how like I think I had made a disparaging comment about playing too many video games, and he was a big defender of video games. He's like, these are self-care, video games, holodecks. This is, there's nothing wrong with playing a video game, taking some time out for yourself. And he really changed my opinion when he defended that. So that was great.
And we got to set up, the holodeck in the first 10 with the Kobayashi Maru episode, which is super fun, right? Yep. But we didn't get to like really enjoy the holodeck as much as we wanted, and having that encapsulated, trapped in a holodeck episode. And so we had such a blast being able to do that. And not only like let each of those stories kind of illuminate something about each character, but then to also have that twist ending that's going to help propel our season into our final 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Holodeck episode. You can't get more Star Trek than that.
No, Sabrina, you can text us your questions, Sabrina.
With the chat.
In the chat.
Put them in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Yvette go. I have some of Sabrina's questions like written in front of me, so if she can't get her voice back, I'll field them for her.
Yeah. So I just want to know, so what time, what day is the canon meeting with all of the Star Trek shows? Like, I know there's got to be like a meeting going on between there. See, I told you
there is. And it was very smart. I think Kurtzman was like, we got a lot of shows. I think we have to, you know,
it's got to be going on here. What do y'all call it? The canon meeting, or what do y'all call it? Is it a chat?
Yeah, it's like,
what is it?
We do it like we do a few every year, and it's usually when like there's a new show or a new season coming out, and they can kind of pitch us what they're thinking, you know, and just so we're all in the know of where everyone's playing in the sandbox, so we're not accidentally stealing someone's toys. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Because I was wondering, I don't know, because you guys are like I think 2 years out before the Mars incident, so I was like, do they know that? You know, who's telling them that don't get too close to this and make sure you know. Yeah.
There's also small stuff that slips through the cracks. It's like you look at Strange New Worlds, Amok, or is it Spock Amok or Amok Spock? They did a body switch, and we had no idea that they were doing a body switch.
Right, so that's why I was like, there's a lot of body switches. Yeah, okay.
Or also, Dan,
Space Whales.
Was it Discovery? Discovery, or was it Strange New Worlds, where they had the episode where there's the species using sound and communicating?
Yeah, the
Strange New Worlds.
No, that was Discovery.
Discovery.
Yeah. Discovery.
Disco is doing that. Yeah, we're like, you know, this happy accidents. Luckily,
we're mostly talking about like legacy people. I'm like, hey, we're using this legacy person. Can they coexist? You know, can we have Okana? Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what a Sabrina.
Yeah. No. And then Mike McMahon's like, well, we're using Okana as a DJ, and we just said, can you slap an eye patch on him because he's got an eye patch in ours?
So so in 2 years, what the hell happened? Why? She's like, why? Why are we doing Okana? Why?
Why are we doing Okana? I think when we were discovering the greatest hits, someone brought up Okana. They decided. You're like, he is not of greatest.
He's in the ether.
He's out. He's so, you know, he was so fun. He was he's outrageous. We wanted a colorful character to come in and really kind of mix up the chemistry of our crew.
We wanted a low rent Han Solo.
Yeah, you got him.
Sabrina said he died in Dynasty for her.
He in Dynasty?
He was in Dynasty.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even know he was in Dynasty. Oh my God.
Wrong
He's
show.
the Rocketeer. He's the Rocketeer for me.
Rocketeer. Okay. Yeah. He's the guy that sleeps around on the D for me. I'm like, how does this guy just walk around the spaceship? He just got there.
I know.
I'm just letting him walk around the flagship of the unit of the Federation, just screwing everybody. What the? And then we bring him back for. I'm like, come on, guys.
Well,
I digress.
Yeah, but it was a good one though. You know, there's so much science in these 10 shows, you know, so this is a Sabrina question for you guys, you know, and you know, was that intended? She wants to know because she's right. You know, one of the things that like really hits you over the face is like the interspatial rifts and the merged warp bubbles. And she says, thank you, Enterprise. And the neurolytic pathogens and the vinculum and you know, was this an intentional direction for you guys towards the end as the season wound up?
Yeah, I mean, it's even from the beginning of the season. I mean, we had Dr. Aaron McDonald as our consultant, but it's like when you're working on like what people are going to view as a kid's show, it's like we wanted to be like we wanted to be legit, and so we knew in order to be legit Star Trek, we needed to cross our T's and dot our I's and make sure all that stuff worked. And what was fantastic was there was a moment where Dr. Aaron says, like, you guys actually have some of the most sound science of any of the Star Trek shows. So we're real proud of that. And we use that to help tell the stories. You know, like the body switch, like episode 18, Mind Walk was a big, like, can we do this? Can we find a Star Trek way into this. And that was a big reason when we were talking about, well, what are the species that make up Dal? There's a telepathic, so there's Organians who are telepathic, maybe they weren't telepathic or Organians, but they're proto-Organians, which means pre-Organians, or like the very first, which they were energy life forms before they were actually in humanoid things. Like,
right.
So we're finding, Sabrina, did I just hear you?
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
She's found her voice.
That was Proto Sabrina, and now Post.
You were lucky I couldn't talk a minute ago, but okay.
Because of Okana. Huh?
So we find these little things, and I feel like there's this cliche of like the answer is always in you. Well, the answer is always in Star Trek. There's always something in Star Trek that you can pull upon, that you can find some science and make work. So
yeah. Did a great job.
Really.
There was so much stuff that I always hear in Star Trek, and now I listen to it. I'm like, oh, that's how that works. Now I get it. I finally get it.
Now, Sabrina, you asked my
heart. You broke my heart so many times in this. You scared me to death. You asked if I watched this with the sisters, but I can't. I have to like decompress after an episode of a cartoon because you know how I feel about animation. But, when you stretch poor little Murph to the breaking point, I was about to slap somebody. I was like, Murph! I was crying for my little baby. But I wanted to really know one thing about how did Daveed Diggs come to be on the show? Because I love him so much, and I was so thrilled when I heard his voice.
We had a casting sheet, and then we saw that there was interest, and we're like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. The only thing that I regret is that it's not a bigger part. I wish we could
it's so good.
More. And I remember there was a moment too that was cut where, our shows are so packed tight. What I really, really liked going into, which we didn't have time, was when we did have Daveed Diggs, we're like, we got to bolster more of this Andorian character. And we think that there's something, and in season 2, I will say you will see some more Daveed Diggs, but I think what's beautiful about his character is he's Admiral Janeway's number 1. And who was her last number 1? Chakotay. Like, how do you fill those shoes? Like, how do you? I think there's something interesting there. There's an interesting place.
Yeah.
Just so many questions that just popped up in my head, and I just wanted, and it's like popcorn right now because I heard Daveed Diggs, and then I was thinking Jellicoe because that just felt like I loved that about this season. I mean, come on, I hated Jellicoe and I love to hate Jellicoe,
right?
And he was so quintessential Jellicoe.
Jellicoe being Jellicoe.
Jellicoe being Jellicoe, like he's still an effective officer of the same stripes, but oh my God, I love that. Thank you for that. I just have to say thank you for that. I don't have a question in there about Jellicoe, unless there's anything you want to tell me about that.
We could say that. I remember we were like, who can outrank Vice Admiral Janeway? And so we asked, like, who are the working admirals at this time? And someone came back to us with a list, and I think it was 3 people, and one of them was Jellicoe, and we were just like, "It's Jellicoe,
it's him."
Ronnie Cox.
Perfect. Yeah, it's the perfect person. Perfect person.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to get into. I didn't know what you were going to go into next, but I was hoping we can get into the last 2 ones because there's some juicy stuff in there.
Well, I just really wanted to really quickly, I wanted to bring up one of my favorite things about this ending arc of the season was the emphasis on communication. And especially in today's climate, when people talk at each other more than they listen to each other, the way that they all had to find a way to get their message across. It was really, that actually was what had me almost in tears at the end, because that's really near and dear to my heart, and I love that you put an emphasis on that. And, what a great message for kids, but not just for the kids, but for us who are watching it. I feel like so many adults can digest that. As opposed to, well, I'm telling you the way to do it is that, was that also another conscious decision?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That was from the very first pitch. I wish we had more time to do it in episode 20, but it was always it was heartbreaking to have these kids who didn't know each other because they couldn't talk to one another. And then they get to know each other, and then they succeed and they go on these adventures together and they grow thick as thieves. And then to have that moment when the bomb goes off, so to speak, and all communication is gone again. Like, how terrifying must that be? But then it's that, like, they've gone through the trials where they're like, they have the confidence within themselves to be like, even though we can't speak the same language, we can figure this thing out. And you're right in the sense of, I think we talked about with you guys last time, maybe we didn't, but yeah, this was written in a time where America was the most divided it's ever been, and it still really much is. And so we just feel like, the communication is a very, very important thing that we feel like as a country, we're going to have to figure it out. We're very different people, and we're going to have to figure out how do we speak as different people and how do we find common grounds.
And we realized, like, with all of the phasers and the teleporters and the starships that Starfleet has, what makes Starfleet great? It's that comm badge. It's the ability to be able to communicate between species and come united. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Okay, Yvette, go for it.
Okay, so I'm going past the communications and straight to the starships.
Okay, straight to the juice.
So I was just like, I love the history, like I love the years and all of that, trying to figure out where everything is in canon. But my goodness, when I saw the Defiant out there, I was like, okay, what's happening? So you should have saw me. I was doing like this. I was like, which one is that? So I found the Defiant, the Centaur, the Thunder Child, and
a lot
the
of people
Sovereign.
Love the Defiant's one of, I think, everyone's favorite ship.
Oh, it's my favorite ship.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, hands down.
I mean,
Hands
after Protostar. I'm joking.
Right.
Listen,
A few more seasons, maybe.
Right.
No. The
You're talking about DS9 here. I love y'all, but you're talking about
Protostar has me.
here.
Protostar has me. I was like, somebody came up with a list of the top 10 ships the other day, and they put the Protostar at, like, I don't know, 6 or something. I was like,
Oh,
what?
no, I wouldn't put it at 6.
No,
It was something
very
stupid,
high.
but I love that ship. I really love that ship.
No, but picking the ships in that fleet moment was a lot of fun, and that's something where when you're writing the script, you don't write those names of the ships, and you don't know which ships you'll be able to get. You just go, it's going to be a fleet bigger than they ever.
Yeah, I think my partner James has bruises on his arms from me being like, "That's a Defiant! That's a Defiant!"
Oh, I have no idea. Anything DS9 positively put on screen makes us just like, we can't breathe half the time. So, but it was so cool. I mean, I think the Sovereign was cool too, because I think that's only in Star Trek Online. I don't think that's ever been like canon before. So I think so. I think that was the one. But I love the ships. I have ships everywhere. So I love that. Oh. God,
but I tell you, that moment, that scene, it was like Wolf 359.
Right,
it was like sorrow. It was like, oh no, it's just awful. This is horrible.
Yeah.
So I was just like, what are they going to do? They're going to take it all down. Oh my God.
Yeah. How are these kids going to get out of this now?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I don't want to bring us totally down, but I really think I also want to give kudos to you guys for the multifaceted, very complex relationship that Gwen had with her father, for representing that on screen, because we don't oftentimes, especially when people are talking to children, they make things parental figures like so one-dimensional or just two-dimensional, and there was just a lot going on between them. Can you guys speak to that relationship at all?
I mean, I think we got to give a lot of credit to the writers' room. I mean, it's when you start with who these characters are, and then you go, okay, his mind gets wiped at the end of 10, and then he gets picked up by Starfleet. Like, who is this character? What is the first thing he's going to think about? And we're like, the first thing, is his daughter. I'm like, that's beautiful. That even though he's been brainwashed by the mission to save his planet, at the end of the day, what's the first thing he thinks about? It's this person who, created in order to complete his mission, but really,
who started off as his progeny. She's just a vessel to finish his mission. She's not his daughter, right? Like that's not how he sees her in the first 10, and then to see that kind of change, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
and it created a really great engine. I mean, it wasn't until we were writing the death scene of the Diviner where, like, how would that conversation go? And he would be like can you carry on my mission? Can you do what I did not do, which is to bring my world together, to save my world? I'm like, that's a big baton. That's a big baton.
But she's doing it, but like the idea that she's going to do it her own way is right. Like she's still doing the purpose that she was meant to do in the pilot episode, but she's doing it in a beautiful way now that she knows the truth and how she's going to, try to do it.
We're always attracted.
Starfleeted.
Yeah. And
that's right.
And we're always like, Kevin and I are always drawn to these emotional conflicts of like, save your planet. And then you're like, but does that mean I have to separate from my best friends, from my crew to do that? These are tragic questions that they have to answer.
And we don't, like, if you look at almost anything that we've written, we almost never have the hero just kill the villain. You know what I mean? Bad, good conquers evil, and that it's we always love it when the hero saves the villain. The villain is saved, in the end, right? And I think he's saved in the end. Yeah.
He was so complicated. I mean, I can't wait to see him. Hopefully, we'll see him again because he's in the future. I love that part too. That there's all this timey-wimey Star Trek time nonsense going on. I just love that.
He's in the present. Here's the thing.
That's right. He's in the present.
He's in the present.
He's in the present because he came from the future. See what I'm talking about?
He's in pre-Civil War. They have not had first contact.
Right. They haven't had first contact yet.
He's probably much younger.
Yeah. That's right.
I will tell you this. If there's one thing that I would ever tattoo on my body, it would be Gwendella's weapon.
That
would be a boss ass tattoo.
That would be amazing.
Oh my gosh, the whole arm, right?
How can I do that? How can I do that?
Okay. All right. So ask question.
Okay, well, I don't have the last question. I'm just going to tell you. Like, you guys just...
we can do a couple more questions if you want. You don't need to feel like you have one question.
We just got a chat thing saying we have one.
You each get one question.
We each get one question.
Okay.
What's the plan? That's what Janeway said.
That's where I was going to go.
What's the plan? There's my question.
Where are we going? Well, okay, so by episode 20, we've set up two hopefully interesting engines, right? One is Gwen, returning to Solemn. And we felt like that's just something that you just can't wrap up or you can't just ignore it. We got to deal with that. And then also the message from Chakotay from the future Solemn. It's those are two really big engines that we want to explore.
And I think this is something that we haven't talked about, whatever it is. I love that the way they found this wormhole, it was the destruction of the protostar.
Yeah.
Essentially, hologram Janeway destroyed the protostar and opened up a wormhole to get to Chakotay, so to speak. Yep. There's something beautiful there of like, the hologram version helps.
I mean, the man did build her a tub.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'd be going to find him too.
Well, I love how you all have it set up for next season. I mean, there's so many different possibilities, there's all the possibilities for other legacy Voyager folks, the possibility to see a whole brand new world and race again. And I know, right? I mean, I love the ending was just so tantalizing, and of course, the bait is Chakotay, and y'all baited us all season with Chakotay. So I was convinced when I saw the last episode that I would see Chakotay then.
Chakotay.
I want to know how you feel about that. Do you feel ripped off or do you feel still emotionally satisfied? Because it's one of those things of it wouldn't be for us as storytellers, if you shoehorn Chakotay, it's like, in episode 20, they get him, boom. You're like that. It's a bigger quest, like getting Chakotay.
Yeah.
I like how you do it. The writer in me says, like hold on to that one, because,
it's a big thing.
it's a big thing, like this was like, it's like now I'm getting this sense of the epicness of the story that can be told. You know, if we had gotten Chakotay too early, then it would have been a much smaller story.
Well, also, it would have been a story told through Star Trek fans, like old Star Trek, you know, and where this is about a new audience coming in. And so this is the story of this crew, you know, but now Starfleet and this crew are kind of more entwined now for season 2, where it feels natural, where they can have the same quest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I love that. I love that they're together.
But we do promise in season 2, we're going to be diving.
It's one of my favorite
Such
episodes.
good stuff with Chakotay in season 2.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
You guys are exciting. You're amazing.
But can I just say, going back to your question though, with season 2, like while there are these stories that we still need to wrap up, you know, for season 2, you know, our characters now are starting at Starfleet instead of deep, you know, in the Delta Quadrant. They're right there on Earth, you know, and so we get to really, I think season 2 is going to have a really nice different flavor, you know, where it's going to really feel like a second chapter
awesome.
now.
Yeah, because she moved them away from thinking we were see the protostar, and I'm like, ooh, protostar A, yay! But then she was like, I got a different plan. I was like, oh,
I got a better idea, folks.
Right,
yeah,
right.
What's happening?
That's the writers' room going, yeah, that'd be really cool, but
hold on.
I loved that. I love that.
Yeah,
you know, you guys are hitting this out the park. Like I told you before, this is a joy to watch, and I'm so glad. You know, soon my oldest child is she's getting married and gonna have children, and I'm like, ooh, I finally get to do this. I'm gonna do this with a little person,
and you get to watch it all the way through again. And you're gonna
I mean, I'm a Star Trek fan. That's what I do. I watch it.
That's what we do.
But yeah, to know that this is out here, and I'm gonna share this with some future progeny. You know, just bring them in. This is awesome. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
So, Sabrina, do you got a last question?
Yes, I am dying to see how old you're going to make Murph be in the second season, because
good one.
He's gone from a baby, and then he was sort of like toddling around. I mean, any creature that will, you know, torpedo butt the Dauntless.
Let's just say he'll have a mustache.
Murph,
oh my God!
Murph put his butt on the torpedo and shot the Dauntless. I said, you know, that's my Murph right there. So, you know.
That's terrible. I am Murph.
No, we're not.
So I mean, now, and I saw him struggling to get out of Dal's arms. I mean, he's just such a little toddler. Like, no, don't hold me.
Yes.
So now it's going to be
this little hamster wheel. It's like a hamster ball.
We're having fun.
I want him to be like 10 and terrible now. You know?
Yeah, there's something fun with Murph growing up slowly. So we plan to, hopefully we want the series just to keep going so that someday, we'll have facial hair and he will be 6 feet tall. And,
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Murph and his peach fuzz. And one last thank you for Admiral Janeway's speech when she was vouching for the kids. And, you know, that was a really beautiful Star Trek speech, like a really classic one. So thank you for that too.
Oh, thank you.
For that too.
Yeah. There's a lot.
In the writers' room, we were talking about, like, Dal represents everything Starfleet is in like one body, you know.
One body. Yep.
So that was
awesome. I loved when he was playing her. That was my favorite.
That was brilliant.
He did. Brett did a really good job with that. Being Janeway, I love that.
Kate, I don't think anyone's ever seen Kate Mulgrew act like that.
No,
it was so fun to hear the joy and the wonder and the youth in her voice. Like, I mean, she really nailed it. The two of them that made that whole episode just wonderful.
Yes. I have in my notes. I would have paid money to see that live. I would have paid money.
We did that live. Well, not them body switch, but we had dinner all together, and it was so great hearing Kate and Brett have this probably hour-long conversation about TikTok, you know, and it was so interesting because what is going on? He was watching these things, and Brett's like, "This is the future." You know?
Conversation I have with my children. What?
Yeah,
I haven't Instagram. I don't need TikTok.
Yes, you do.
Like, studios will be defunct.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Did we get another warning? Is it?
Nope. But
okay.
Nope.
I want to thank you really quickly for All the World's a Stage. My absolute favorite episode of the whole run.
Good.
That was
Beautiful episode.
that major Galaxy Quest. That was Aaron Walton.
Yes.
Yep.
You know,
Everything was in there. That was, I swear to God, when they piloted the ship, when they turned it into Constitution class, I just started crying. I was like, oh.
Yeah. It brought,
You guys
honestly,
gotta stop it. You got to stop it. I'm getting killed watching this show.
That was also influenced by one of my favorite TOS episodes is Miri. And that was the episode where they go down and, and Spock gets sick. And I loved going down to that alien civilization that's totally like, this seems normal, or it's all children and it's all like, what the heck, wonderful, huge question mark mysteries. And then you're getting sick, so you can't go back. You can't go back to the ship. You're trapped down there and it's a ticking clock. And I love those episodes. So.
Yeah. Well, guys, we just want to say thank you so much. Thanks for your time again. Thanks for a really fun conversation again. And,
yes.
We'll do it again in season 2.
I know. I can't wait I hope to.
Got 20 more episodes coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really hope to meet you guys too. I mean, we're looking forward to that.
No mission in Seattle. I don't know what.
No, but we have Las Vegas we'll be there for Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where else? Star Trek Long Island. I don't know if you heard about that, but they got a new. So
are you at almost all of those? Do you guys go to almost all of the conventions, or no?
Not almost all, but the big ones.
Yeah.
Are you going on the cruise?
Yeah, we'll be on the cruise.
All 4 of us.
For sure.
The cruise is fun. That's the best one.
I'm so excited.
Someday we'll be on a cruise. Someday.
Yeah, we'll be on the cruise when you guys let us know when you come. And SyFy Sisters will make sure we're booked. Thanks for everything, guys. We appreciate you so much.
Congratulations on a super show and all the awards.
Congratulations. You deserve it.
And congratulations for finding your voice, Sabrina. I feel like
you're
coming to your own.
You couldn't help himself.
It was a button, wasn't it? It was just like a little button.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful holiday, ladies.
Yeah, Merry
Thank
Christmas
you so much.
Thanks.
Yep.
You too.
Yes.
And there you have it. Both parts of the Hageman interviews. Yay!
Great. Second half. Great.
Let me tell you, I love talking to those guys. They are so much fun. And I hope we get to hang out with them soon. Like they were saying in that last part, we got to hang out. That's what we got to do.
I believe them too.
Mm-hmm.
I believe them. Because, some people say, well, let's, do this or do that. And it doesn't happen. But I think they would be like, where are the SyFy Sisters? Something like Anson,
Nobody like
Anson.
I know, right?
I want to say this to the Hageman brothers. That from now on, I am not ever going to say again that I have an aversion to animation.
Yay.
Hey.
Yay.
I said you had the aversion to animation.
Yes.
I
said that.
Fran coined it. Sabrina embraced it. And we all knew it was the truth.
Yes, we did. All 4 of us knew it was true.
Schooled. The myth has been debunked. We're going to
debunk that myth.
Well, anyway, congratulations for a spectacular 20 episode season. And I want to also congratulate all the new episode writers. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering anybody's name, but there were 2 people I think that had their first episodes. And I'm so proud of you. They were so great. I just loved every single one of the episodes. I really did love this show. And I loved that it had 20 episodes. It was kind of like old time Star Trek.
Yeah, it was kind of old school that way, nice long season.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Not just a couple of weeks.
Only right. I don't think we had any throwaway episodes. I think all of
not a single one.
No. You need
all of these episodes were top notch and integral part of the season.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So great job, guys. And we can't wait for season 2. Woo! Yeah. Give it a round of applause. And season 2, we'll be eagerly awaiting that. And, if you have thoughts about what you thought about the episode, let us know. Sabrina, can you tell folks how they can let us know their thoughts about this episode or about any of the Prodigy episodes from this season or anything from the interview?
Okay, I sure can. You can find us at SyFysistas.com. That's SyFysistas.com. Or join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the SyFy Sisters Book Club, both on Facebook. Download the Trek Geek Network app where you can find us and our family of podcasts on the Trek Geek Network. On Instagram and TikTok, we're SyFy.Sisters. And we're also on the Twitter at SyFy Sisters. Become a patron of the SyFy Sisters today at patreon.com/SyFy Sisters. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just put you on an upcoming episode.
And we also would like to give the shorty shout out. So, Fran, take it away.
I got it. Thank you. And we love you all. And thank you so much. The following Patreons: Susan V. Grunner, TJ Jackson Bay, Luz Ara, Dafid Balston, Sailor Marge, LM, Stephanie Dole, Anne Marie, Timothy Baum, Kalia Zawacki, Howard Hogan, Starbase Center 4210 Productions, the Chief Ernesto Costanza. Ernesto, if I mess that up, DM me, okay? And Post, Karen Dramaria, Alicia Watkins Campbell, Travis Taylor, Linda Anneberg, Liza Albright, Eve England, Sue Kay, Olga Kravchuk, Mohammed Noor, Scott Jensen, Sam Droke Dickinson, Anne Bradley, Stephanie Baker, Jamal Taylor, David A. Gregory, Kelly McKinnon, J.R. Poole, Old Decline, Jeffrey Cochran, Zakiah Graham, and last but not least, Peter Heisler. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate.
We really do. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And we also like to thank some folks that are listening from different parts of the world, right, Sabrina?
Yes, we want to give a 2022 shout out to everyone that is listening to us all over the globe. We really appreciate this. And so everyone in the UK, Haiti, Canada, Germany, Kenya, Brazil, the Philippines, New Zealand, India, yay, cousins, thank you, Thailand, Hong Kong, Norway, Poland, Spain, Austria, Japan, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Ecuador, Sweden, and Bangladesh. Thank you so much for listening to us in all those countries. I cannot believe it.
That is so cool.
It is.
We're international, y'all.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, the pressure.
Somebody actually heard my voice in Bangladesh.
Very cool.
I think a couple of these people are my cousins, but
So thank you, everybody. And one last thank you to the baddest engineer in the Anonymous One. He's responsible for all the music you hear on our show. And if you need musical production skills or sound engineering skills, he's the one to look up on Instagram at dose_the_anonymous_1. That's it. On Instagram. I said that part. I'm also going to say this. We love you. Thank you very much. Peace, love, and hair grease, y'all.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.